Hello, welcome back to Storm. Bryanna Coté is here with us, and we have a few of the most commonly missed spares or commonly left spares. I don't know if you missed them, they're pretty simple. There's a few that scare me, especially anything with a 3-6 combo, but we do have one of the most common for a righty is the 10-pin setup. So we're gonna have you walk us through your process and see how you would attack a single pin corner.
All right, so everyone's favorite pin if you're a right-hander, the 10 pin. So for me, I am a lower rev player, so I tend to leave 10 pins quite often. So for me, my general way of shooting it is I do line up with the tip of my shoe. That's where I like spot where I'm gonna stand. So I like to stand on 30, and I'm looking about like 17. I will probably hit a little bit left of that because I tend to hit left of what I look at because I'm left eye dominant. So if you do know what eye you are dominant with, that does help in your alignments. So I'm going to stand on 30. That's what I'm gonna look at. And we are gonna try to knock down this pesky 10 pin. Perfect. And as you can tell, I do drift a little bit. So I drifted, about 6 boards to the left. That's just my natural drift. I know that when I bowl, and I knocked it down. So the spare ball did its job.
So you made that look pretty easy.
Ooh,
now we're getting a little bit tougher. So it's probably the most commonly left multi-pin non-split spare that scares me to death. It's my worst one.
It scares me too.
Yeah, so how would you go about picking up the 3-6-10?
Okay, so 3-6-10, I don't love this spare. I think most of you guys don't love this spare. There's so many ways to miss it, chop it, miss it, however you want to call it. So for me, I do use my plastic ball or my spare ball to shoot this. So a little bit of the same concept is where I shot the 10 pin. Since I have more pins that are a little bit closer to the center, I do move a little bit to the right. So instead of standing 30, I'm gonna move to about 27, and I'm still gonna keep my eyes about 17. So I'm just moving my feet a little bit closer to the pin that's closest to me. And I'm gonna hopefully hit the 3 and the 6 and the ball take out the 10. Woo! I was a little worried on that one, but the ball did its job. In the future, I would probably make a little bit of an adjustment. I would probably move just a little bit closer to it, a little bit further right for me, since I barely clipped that, get a little bit closer to the 3 pin, and hopefully they knock them down, but hopefully I don't leave it next time.
That looked pretty easy.
Kinda.
3-6-10.
Kinda.
Okay.
I was sweating a little bit.
Yep. Here's another multi-pin spare that's pretty common, the 2-8.
Yes.
So do you have the same strategy or a different strategy with hook versus
a little bit of
straight?
different strategy. So I'm not going to use my plastic ball. I'm going to use my strike ball. And so the 2-8 looks kind of easy, but then it's kind of tough. So for me, it's not one that I love to shoot. A little bit. I prefer it more than 3-6-10. But for me, I will start basically where I'm throwing my strike ball. So for purposes of right now, what I'm bowling on, I was standing on 20, and I was looking more so about like 10. So I'm probably hitting closer to 12. So I left the 2-8. I'm like, okay, so now I need to get my ball to hook a little bit more. So my general rule of thumb when I leave a 2-8 is I'm gonna move to the right about 4 boards, and I'm gonna move my eyes about 1 right. So just get over there, try to get to the friction, and hopefully the ball hooks perfectly into that 2-8. So like I said, I was on 20, so I'm gonna go 4. So that's gonna get me to about 16. I'm gonna move my eyes 1. And perfect. So that was how I would normally shoot a 2-8. Obviously, if I were to miss it one way or the other, I would adjust accordingly.
Well, you're 3 for 3, pressure's on.
I know, it's getting harder.
Now, here's another one of my favorites, the washout. So multi-pin, got a little bit of space in between. How do you attack this one?
Definitely, so the washout is tricky. There's multiple ways that people like to shoot at this one. Some people like to hook it, so just like I shot the 2-8, some people will kind of shoot it that way. Some people will go all the way to the left, maybe try to hit the 1-2. For me, I try to just kind of keep it simple to where I would normally shoot like a 2-4-5. So I generally line up about 21, and I'm going to look at about 18, 19, and hopefully hit the left side of the head pin so it takes out the 10 pin and doesn't wrap it, which I think is one of the worst breaks in bowling. So we're gonna give it a go.
Oh!
Oh, we did it. Thank you, sidewall.
All right, 4 for 4.
Whew, thank you, sidewall.
You said that this is one of the most common splits that a right-hander would leave, the 4-9.
Yes, definitely. So we have the 4-9 here, and it's like your ball just went a little bit too high. Maybe you leave a 4-pin, maybe you leave a 9-pin, but sometimes, unfortunately, you leave both of them. So we gotta try to make it. So obviously, to make the 4-9, for someone with not a lot of power, you need to slide the 4-pin into the 9. So doing so, I'm going to stand generally where I normally stand when I shoot a 7-pin. So I'm going to stand about 19, and I'm going to look at 21 and try to get angle going this way. So I'm kind of taking this part of the lane out of play, using my spare ball. Hopefully hooks a little, just enough to nick the 4 and take out the 9. Oh, we got it.
Okay, Bryanna, 5 for 5, very impressive. I'm quite impressed today. That was awesome.
Thank you. Lots of practice. So definitely lots of practice with spares. I recommend that everyone shoot their spares when they're practicing, just to get a feel for what your system is. It may not be the same as mine, but hopefully I gave you some guides to help you get better at your spares and maybe what to do when you encounter those difficult spares. So good luck.
I learned a lot. We hope you did too. And remember to always bowl up the storm.